Hey y'all, so I am making a set. I did a tutorial on how to make this necklace slash circlet, and I was experimenting with a cute little just bangle bracelet using two different sizes of beads. It's a 6mm and a 4 and a 6mm. And so I wanted to show you guys how to make some earrings. Now, I don't have a tutorial for the bangle, but what I did was I just folded about 20 inches of wire in half. Sorry for laundry noises in the background. And then started up the coiling, wrapped it a bit, and then repeated the same exact pattern that was used to do the foundation of the necklace, but alternating small and large rings. So to do the earrings, I really like just a simplistic this section. So I was going to try to recreate that. So I have two equal lengths of wire. These are about 5.5 inches long, and I'm going to use my flat nose pliers and come in at the 2 3/4 or whatever that might be in centimeters, and holding quite firmly, bending, and I'm holding both of them at the same time. I'm going to give it a little past, so maybe a 45-degree angle or 50. Not quite a 30-degree, but I want them to be the same. And so I'm also going to be wrapping using 28 gauge silver plated silver. This core wire is a 16 gauge dead soft aluminum. There will be links to all the different tools and materials in the video description below. And so I'm going to begin by, and I'm working just off the spool on this, which what I mean by that is it's still attached to the main spool, but you don't have to do that. You could just pull some off and use it. But I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rotations. And since they're earrings, I want to keep it a little bit more precise. So normally I would just smush down that tail, but I am actually going to just snip, trim that down, and then use my bent nose pliers to smush that down just a little further. That way there's no little pokey bits. And so I'm going to slide that in. Let me actually clear off my work surface just a little bit. And I don't know if I'm going to create one or both of the earrings right now, but I'm going to take this and I'm just encouraging it with my fingernail to go over the tip until we have it sitting just like that. And our little loose tail came up, so I'm going to smush that down again. Okay, and actually it occurred to me I can't do this off the spool because I need to thread beads on. And so I've pulled off maybe 2 feet. Hopefully that'll be enough. But I'm going to thread on a 4mm, and this is jet. But you could use any gemstone or Swarovski crystal that you might like. And now you can see here how the wire is, I want to call it on top, but it's between the core wire and myself. So whenever I wrap around, I'm going to keep it on that same side as opposed to weaving it through. You could use your own preference and do however. It'll be very slight design modifications, but I really encourage you to experiment and see what you like. And so I am going to take these and I'm just kind of pressing and twisting because I want it to come together so that there's not much of a gap between the bead and the core wire. And then I'm going to do 5 rotations. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. That sounds like our neighbor's kids are making little Tarzan noises. So I don't even know if y'all can hear that, but okay. So I'm just going to keep kind of angling these together to give a really nice little loop, and I use the 4mm bead to help establish that size. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the bind stitch that goes around both of the core wires. And then I'm going to do 5 rotations. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can press that in. You know, I'm actually going to do 7. 6, 7. And then I'm going to thread on one of our 6mm beads. And then from here, I'm going to push that around, just pushing with my finger, holding firm with my finger and thumb of my left hand. And then I'm going to come up, and you can see how this one went over. That means this one is going to go over the other wire. So gripping again, just pushing around, using the shape of the bead to help establish where the wire is going to go. And then whenever I have it crossed like that, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to press that down, keep the bead centered up, because I don't want it to be pushed too far to one side or the other. I like it to be centered up. Then I'm going to do the binding stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so now I'm going to thread on our 4mm bead. And letting it fall. Again, holding firm, pushing up, and again, we want to keep that kind of almost double helix intertwining going on, so the top one goes behind the bottom one. And it's going to come on through, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And bind across the center, that binding stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the amount of wire that I pulled off of the spool was way more than it turned out that I needed for 1 earring, but it might be perfect for just 2. So I'm going to do, that was 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, nice and tight. And I'm going to snip that back. Now you could use a 24 or a 26 gauge as well, but I really like the 28 gauge. I feel it's a little easier on my hands. And when I'm crafting for about, 8 to 12 hours a day, little differences like that can really add up. Okay, so here we have the core concept of the wire wrapped drop. And now we get to decide how we're going to bind it off. On the bracelet, I crossed it off into little spirals on either side, like that, but I don't think that's what I want to do for this one. So I think I'm actually going to just take this side and wrap it around, like that, and then I'm going to use my flush cutters. They're called that because they have a flat side, which is really great for getting in there and snipping, boop, just like that. And so we could leave that little bit of overhang, but I'm also going to try coming in and cutting it off right at the back of our other wire. So right there, removing that very little piece, and then we can come in, being very careful the whole time to not cut any of the other wires. I'm going to come in with my pliers and just press this so that it settles very comfortably behind the other wire, which gives us a much simpler and sleeker front look, which I really like that. So dealer's choice on that one, you get to kind of do whatever you want. And then I'm going to snip this so it's only 1 finger width wide, so maybe half an inch. And then I'm going to grab as close to the tip of the wire, but it's where it'll end up making maybe a 3 to 4 millimeter loop, and then just cycling that around. It's a little longer than what I needed it being, so I'm going to come in, trim off just a little bit more. I'm going to grab it and just continue around because I want this to fall I think, just right past there. There we go. See how it fell just on the other side of that loop? And now this is something that we could use our nylon jaw pliers or some flat nose pliers and just really work hard in that, because we want that to stay nice and stiff. And that is the part that we would either put a decorative bail through and use this as a pendant, or create one mirror imaged and attach it to an ear hook. And there you have just a nice earring. So now I'm going to try real quick to make another one exactly like it, because earrings. So I'm going to start, like I had said, by mirror imaging it. So right here from the start, I wove on one side first. So let's see, we did 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Traffic noises outside. Just pressing that tail down, snipping it just as close as we can. Oops, started to slide off the end there. And we're going to ease this just over the tip, getting it lined up. Okay. And so we're going to start bringing it across. Now this one, I guess I started off wrong already. I guess I would have needed to have inserted it from the other side. Though I don't really see what kind of difference that would have made. Okay. So hopefully y'all are better at getting stuff to be mirror imaged than I am. But I'm going to go ahead and just thread on our 4mm bead. I hope y'all like listening to my washer and dryer. I actually kind of like the noises that they make. It's real, like, I don't know, homely. Oh, and then I bump the tripod. So that's the front of that one. So for this one, I broke my own rule and I'm doing a weave. So there's the wire and there's the wire. Normally I would have woven around and done like this, to where they were both on the same side, but I'm going to weave through. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on this one, I had where kind of the bottom wire was on top, so the other one I'm going to have to where the top wire is on top. That way they'll look mirror imaged. I'm just gripping and turning. And at this point, I do want to make sure that I'm just as tightened down, oops, onto the bead and stuff. That way we'll get a nice symmetry going. Okay. There we are. And then I'm going to wrap that core wire like that binding stitch. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Threading on a 6mm jet. And then gripping, again, making sure that the top wire goes on top. And you can see, again, how that's making it mirror imaged as opposed to perfectly symmetrical. It's kind of like we're butterflying it. We want it to be like hands, not... I hope that makes sense. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Again, trying to make sure this loop is the same length and everything. doing that binding stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, compressing and putting on our 4mm bead. There it goes. And then holding that quite firmly, that way we can make sure that everything's going the way it's supposed to. And then it runs away on us. That looks like it's matching up pretty well. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Compressing that down, doing the binding stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Smoosh, there it goes. Trimming that down nice and short. Cool, only a few inches of scrapped wire. And then smushing that tail wire down. I was catching a few snaggles here on the end on that one, so I'm going to touch it up too. I really hope that I can get into like soldering or something, because I'd love a way to be more secure about binding down the ends of my wires. There we go. And so that's how that's sitting. Looking pretty good so far, but I don't want to jinx it. So now I'm going to take this wire, and same as I did before, I'm going to wrap it and stack it, just like how we had. But then I'm going to get in there with my flush cutters and snip, and then use our pliers to tuck it just right behind. There we are. And then I'm going to trim, it looked like maybe right there. Hopefully that wasn't too much. Grab with my pliers and start bending that around. Because I still want it to be nice and along the center line. Oh, there we go. And there we are. Some cute little earrings. To finish those off, I would take these. No, those aren't ear hooks at all. Where'd they go? Here they are. I have a little blast from the past film canister with, I can't get open. Is this a child safety lock? What is this? There we go. These are surgical steel 301 alloy ear hooks. They are nickel free. And I would just come in and open the little loop that's on them, just like that. And then hook this on there. Maybe. There we go. And then close it. Ouch. Oh. I hate it when that happens. And it does. So it would have been a little bit easier, I think, to fit an 18 gauge wire in. And the coils are getting in the way, so it doesn't want to lay straight. So I'm actually going to remove a few of these coils. Like, I think I could have gotten away with just doing 10 rotations. And I'm just getting in there and snipping one. Snagging it with my fingernail, grabbing it with my bent nose, and pulling. Hold that right off. Make sure that's nice and tucked. Ah, yeah, that moves much more freely. It has a nice dangle to it. I kind of feel like it defeats the purpose of a cute pair of dangle earrings if they don't dangle. Okay, and now to make it a little bit easier, we could just open the loop that's on our ear hook, or earring, as opposed to the ear hook, and then thread that on. I think I very much prefer that. So try different routes, see which way is your favorite. Then I'm going to surface harden it just a bit with my bent nose. And then you could use little rubber ear backs that I have no idea where they are, honestly. I need to clean my workstation. Oh no. But there we go. And those, I think, are some super cute little earrings that you could just really make unique depending on the metal tone. You could incorporate some hammering, some different bead shapes and colors and textures, and I'm really excited to see what you guys make with this. If y'all have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave those down below. I don't know if I mentioned this, but there will be links to all the different tools and materials used here in the video description, as well as links to my social media if you would like to tag me so I can see what you've been working on, or follow my work. Also, if you enjoy my free tutorials and would like to support the creation of more of them, please consider joining me over on Patreon. There'll be links to that as well. But we post almost daily content over there that you don't even have to be a pledger to see. But the more you pledge, the more you get. We do like weekly giveaways and digital download content and monthly craft crates and just all sorts of different things. So thank you guys so much though for hanging out with me. And until next time, I'll throw stuff on the ground, but happy crafting. Bye. Oh God.